What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
And together we are last week's album, The Only Reviews, with two different views. And in this episode, we're reviewing the new album by Son Little called Son Little. And we're asking the big question, is his brand of future soul borrowed or brand new? But before we get into all that, we'll kick things off like we always do, drinking a beer. Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
Cheers, Kevin, everyone at home.
Son Little is the stage name of Aaron Livingston. He's based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is his sort of long-awaited self-titled debut. In the past, he's collaborated with The Roots and RJD2. He's released an EP, and among all that, everyone's sort of waiting for this debut LP, and it's being called Future Soul, if you will. And with that, let's talk about what it sounds like. Derek, what do you think?
I think Son Little sounds like the Black Keys, Benjamin Booker, and Leon Bridges take a trip through blues history highlights, making a soundtrack along the way, kind of like a Foo Fighter-less Sonic Highways.
Nice. I think it sounds like a little Leon Bridges, a little JD McPherson, and a little Danger Mouse. And with that, let's talk about some key tracks. Derek, what are you going with?
I'm going with track 5, Cartman, and track 6, Lay Down.
All right. I'm going with number 3, Your Love Will Blow Me Away When My Heart Aches, and number 11, The River. But why don't you kick us off with your two, Derek?
Yeah, Cartman, track 5, really opens with these two guitars playing this descending riff, an acoustic and electric, really creates this Delta blues sound. And then it switches quickly and back and forth often to the smoother phrase with organs, more layered vocals, kind of gospel-like, I thought. And it switches back and forth, and like I said, to even more biting electric guitars. Lyrics seem to look at the fact that people may be born into different stations in life. At the end of the day, so to speak, we're all made up of the same chemical composition, the overwhelming majority of that being, of course, carbon. For my next key track, I hopefully will not be talking about as much science. Lay Down. This one really opens with crooning lead vocals, some call and response with group chorus, swaying electric guitar, airy keys, and lyrics talk about laying down, but not necessarily by oneself. So that might relate to science to some degree. Really creates a sexy Motown sound, one for getting down.
Nice. I like it. I like both those tracks as well. Carbon was especially interesting and sort of inventive in my mind. But Your Love Will Blow Me Away When My Heart Aches, besides being a really long title for a song, is actually a great song. It's got soulful crooning, doo-wop backing vocals, electric guitar wah-wahs, a hip-hop beat, and lyrically it's really fearful, but sonically it sounds like a brave force to be reckoned with. So definitely check that one out. And then number 11, The River, to me is somewhere between early Kings of Leon meets late Ben Harper. It's got rockabilly guitar, clattering percussion, gospel vocals, keyboard flourishes, hints of even Ennio Morricone with these electronic Western effects, and just a really catchy, sexy track that's an instant earworm. At least it was for me. And with that, let's talk about some best lyrics. Derek, what are you picking?
I'm going with the opening line from the opening track, I'm Gone, and he says, you get what you get, so don't expect a thing. And I think that's just, I'm interpreting that to be just, a first word to the critics out there, as you kind of mentioned. This is very highly anticipated. And this also kind of reminded me somewhat of Gary Clark Jr. and just kind of a, people, all the, future blues guitar heroes have such expectations put on them. I love the way that they just say, you know what, I'm going to do my thing. And I loved how, Son Little here did that.
Yeah, I like that. That is a bold first line for the first track on your album. I'm going to go with one from Toes. though, and the line goes, "Love's the flame. Without air, it fades away." And I thought that was really clever and very thoughtful at the same time. He tends to take these sort of classic soul tropes and put a really modern spin on them with his lyrics. And I thought that was a great example of it. And with that, let's talk about overall rating and answer the big question: is his brand of future soul borrowed or brand new? Derek, what do you think?
I think, obviously, as we kind of alluded to, there's a lot of borrowed elements, but I thought they were brought together in new ways with other modern elements, making it seem brand new. So how about a brand new take on borrowed sounds? I don't know. I really dug it. As we kind of alluded to, he covered a lot of different genres, but really did so seamlessly. Really solid guitar playing, but one thing I thought was great was it wasn't overly reliant or focused on no gratuitous guitar playing, if you will, because we hate gratuitous guitars here. I don't know. Really solid lyrically, I thought, and vocally. He just as we kind of mentioned the different stylings he did, he really mastered them all. So. Overall rating, I'm giving this one a 5 out of 5. Really liked it. I think I'm going to keep on digging into this one.
Dang, nice. All right.
Really enjoyed top to bottom.
All right. We will agree for the most part, disagree on a couple of things. Is his brand of future soul borrowed or brand new? I think it's totally new and fresh. I struggled to find musical comparisons. Even the sounds like references I dropped, I felt like needed a lot of caveats. Because any one artist, you can't really pin this guy's sound down or really pigeonhole him. Very imaginative, and so I really appreciated that. Overall rating on the pro side, I think he mixes R&B and rock and electronica in really interesting ways. The album had this sort of overarching theme of fear, at least the way I interpreted it, which isn't easy to make sound upbeat and catchy, but he still does it. On the con side, I feel like he's a little all over the place. Almost all the sounds are good, but I still hear an artist who's sort of figuring out his sound and style and a little bit more experimental than fully fleshed out and focused as an album. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. Nonetheless, strong rating. That's a combined 9 out of 10 for Sun Little by Sun Little. So you should definitely check this one out and let us know what you guys think when you listen to it. What do you hear? Who do you hear? And we are last week's album. The only reviews with 2 different views. Don't forget to subscribe to us and check out our podcast. As always, I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you next time.